Well, let's see. Let's start with this. This is not what I had intended today, but improvise. Lately, I've been talking to a lot of guitar players, so I'm going to use me and Ted Green to bring in the show.
This old world starts getting me down. People are just too much for me to face. Climb way up to the top of the stairs. Know my cares right into space. On the roof, it's peaceful and it's carefree. And there the world below can't bother me. Let me tell you now, I come home feeling tired and beat. Go up where the air is fresh and sweet.
Ted Green. Woo.
From the hustle and grind, all that rat race noise down in the street. On the roof, the only place I know where you just have to wish to make it so. Let's go up on the roof. He was so great. Woo. Uh. When the sun goes down, burns the tar up on the roof. You wish your tired feet were fire under the boardwalk, down by the sea, on a blanket with my baby.
Whoops.
That's
The
where
video cut out a
I'll
little.
be. Oh, from the park you can hear the sound of a carousel.
Oh, sweet.
You can almost taste the hot dogs and fries that they sell under the boardwalk, down by the sea. Yeah, on a blanket with my baby. That's where I'll be. Under the boardwalk, under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun under the boardwalk. People walking above under the boardwalk. We'll be making love under the boardwalk,
Ah, so good.
from the park you can hear the sound of a carousel. Then almost takes the hot dogs and fries they sell under the boardwalk, down by the sea. On a blanket with my baby, that is where I'll be. Under the boardwalk, out of the sun, under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun under the boardwalk. People walking above under the boardwalk, we'll be making love under the boardwalk,
Oh, damn. God. So glad that we have this stuff. In fact, I'm going to talk about Ted Green today. We are missing the artist that was scheduled, and so we're just going to keep going. Hey, Joey De Leon, you could come on today, but then I wouldn't have promoted you. But if you want to come on, but it's a 2-hour show, so maybe you're doing something else. But let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit here and talk about Ted Green. But I just have to say, though, I've been having some really great times. My friend Jamie Finley came down from Seattle, and we did a few gigs, one with Putter Smith, and we did a whole recording session yesterday. And then I went downtown to hang out with Joey De Leon and Ricardo. I don't know everybody's name. Michelle and the other guitar player. And now I have to actually really have that imprinted on my mind. And of course, John Leftwich, and sat in. And it was totally fun. So I've just been having a great time. I have, I'd like to talk about this kind of stuff today. Um, first of all, I just want to say, I have to say this, shame on Kanye West. I just, I find it really hard to believe that anyone, especially a man who is playing with a team of people, is blatantly against, coming out with racism. It's really, oh, thank you, Joey, Josh, and Michelle Melliker. Thank you. Yeah, I just find it really difficult to believe that he is condoned in any way. You know, I mean, that's the last thing anybody needs. It's just kind of mind blowing. Why don't those kind of people get a whole other planet? They can live on the planet and fight till the death. You know what I mean? And just have a great time. And then all the rest of us who want to live in peace and share brotherhood and sisterhood, we can do that, right? Maybe next lifetime. Anyway, getting back to Ted Green. Ted Green, gosh, he's been gone about, I don't know, maybe 12 years or something. Ted Green, now this is actually good connection. Ted Green was an amazing human being, totally amazing. So beautiful, so giving, so quality minded, and that's really why I like to do these shows, actually, because just doing something here. I like to do these shows because I like to uncover that feeling. Oh, thank you, Roland. Yeah. He's run out of creativity, and the only way he can stay in people's minds is being controversial. Yeah, that's probably true, Roland. Yeah. Yeah, he's so disgusting. Anyway, getting back to Ted Green and the reason why I love doing these shows. I love doing these shows because we uncover people's hearts and connections, creativity, all the things that make life worthwhile. Right? Why do we even want to be here if we can't have those things, right? And so getting back to Ted Green was a person who really represented that. Hi, Joyce. Very kind-hearted. He, just to give you an idea, he taught everybody, like top guys and lower guys, guitar players. He had a waiting list. If you really wanted a lesson, if somebody had to cancel, they had to send a sub, a student sub for themselves. And that's how a lot of guys actually got in to study with him. And we're going to hear more of Ted. And just so kind, so humble. And so his music was so amazing. Yeah, I'm going to just find another one. Really cool. Luckily, I did a lot with him. Oh, this is a pretty one. Okay. And this was, it says 2000. Okay, yeah, so this was in 2000. I believe I had I think I had met my husband, Gary, and I remember rehearsing in the room, and I remember Ted's shirt was open, very casual. He just, this was not the first time we had played. We had played in like 1976. I met him at Dante's. I was a waitress. He was in the audience and he fainted. And I had heard about him because I had gone to Berkeley in Boston. And at that time, there was mostly guitar players. And so Ted Green was kind of a hero for the guitar players there. And so I knew his name. And so he fainted. He opened his eyes. I guess I was over him. And I asked him if he wanted to play. And he said, yeah. And so I didn't realize that he was playing very rarely and that he had a huge following. So we got this kind of music together with his arrangements. And I put up 3 little pieces of paper around town. And then when I got to the gig, there was no standing room. And that was my first, like, real gig in LA. But it was great. So Ted and I played together for about a year and a half. And then he kind of stopped playing again. And then in 2000, I can't remember why we decided to do this again, but oh no, along the way we played a little bit too. There was a Papa Sean's, there was a restaurant where a bunch of us were playing, John Pisano and a bunch of people. So anyway, here's Ted and I again at Rocco's, which was, I think this was one of the best things that we recorded. I have a CD and a DVD of this show, a DVD of this show and a CD of other stuff that we had done called Never Forgotten that's on sale on my site. And if you're a fan of Ted Green especially, it's great to have because as you can see him playing, you can see his smile, and you can, of course, hear his wonderfulness. There will never be another you, Ted.
Some pretty sharp thickets and then phone pictures. You gotta keep pulling those thorns right out of your arms as you barreling through, finish the tune, Anybody who's listening carefully knows what I mean.
He's saying why he's making mistakes, which is like.
Well, wherever there's a first song, there'll be a second. So sometimes things actually get better.
He said so, things actually sometimes get better. Kind of hard to get better when you're Ted Green. I don't know.
I've grown accustomed to his face. He almost makes the day begin. I've grown accustomed to the tune. His smiles, his frowns, his ups, his downs.
So good. You know, it's cool as a singer when you can sing the melody and the chords are just gorgeous around that. Ted was a genius at that.
Space. He almost makes the day begin. I've gotten used to hear him say good morning every day. His joys, his woes, his highs, his lows. I second nature to be like breathing out and breathing in. I'm very grateful he's a man, and he's so easy to forget. Rather like a habit, one can always break, and yet I've grown accustomed to the trace of something in the air. Our covers fell to his feet.
He's so sweet. Oh my God. God. Just every time I see these these videos, I just fall in love with him all over again. He was just a kind soul. I think I really enjoy I've always really enjoyed singing with duos a lot. Of course, last night a band like I sat in with was great. That was fantastic, Joey. Singing with you is great. I want to do that. Yeah, it's funny because that was 20 years ago. And in ways, I like what I was doing then more than now. But you can't be thinking of that. You have to think in the moment and you have to be aware of what's going on right now. This week, I really poured on the attention and the practice. And if that's an indication of how much practice I need right now, it's a lot. I was happy with what happened because as some of you know, like I've talked about this, but in the last few years, my voice has been acting strange and maybe my old decisions needed to be changed about how to produce sound. Maybe my chronic cough was finally saying, you know what, I'm going to mess your voice up. um, and so, but yeah, so, but anybody who lives in the moment, not just musicians, but anybody who lives in the moment knows that. Musicians happen to have to confront it every day because this kind of thing happens. You're not who you were last week or last month or last year, and you have to kind of rise to the occasion. You can't just be laying back and doing what you did before. You can, but it's not rewarding, it's not good. Usually, you can't just copy what you've been doing. Oh, Dan, that Ray Russell stuff is not all that great. Thanks for posting it, but I don't know if you've really listened to the whole thing, but that was kind of a sloppy gig. There's other things that are a little better. Um, yeah, but duo is really nice. As a matter of fact, let's see, duo. So There's also Jose Diorio. Let's see. And Joe Diorio. Diorio. So Joe Diorio is another great guitar player. Great guitar player. And this is it's put out by CD Baby, but I won't share that particular screen because they could take me down just for my own stuff. So we're going to be listening to me and Joe Diorio. So Joe Diorio was a legendary jazz guitar player, and another wonderful soul. And he and I did this duo record.
Well, weep for me. Bend your branches down along the stream that runs to the sea. Listen to my plea. Listen, willow and weed. Gone my lover's dream, lovely summer dream. Gone and left me here to weep my tears into the stream. I'm sad as I can be. Hear me, willow and weed. Whisper to the wind and say that love has sinned to leave my heart breaking and making a moan. Murmur to the night to hide her starry light, so none will see me crying and sighing alone. How weeping a willow tree, weep in sympathy. Bend your branches down along the ground and cover me. When the shadows fall, bend, oh willow, and weep for me. Weep for me. so none will find me crying and sighing all alone. Weeping willow tree, weep in sympathy, oh, bend those branches down along the ground and cover me. When the shadows fall, hear me willow and weep. Weep, weep, willow, weep along the stream, oh, weep, a willow and weep, weep for me. Weep, 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 weep. Weep for me.
Joe DiOrio. He was so cool. I'll show you a picture. This is Joe DiOrio. Great. He had a great sense of humor. He actually did a lot of. He played with everybody, but he did duos as well. He liked that. And on this project, we kept trying to do an up-tempo swing, but he would always say, I think I'd like this as a ballad. And so we ended up I think this was the most up-tempo song we did. He passed away last year. I think he was over 80, and just great person. In fact, we've been talking about him a lot because I keep bumping into guitar players who were at GIT in the early days, and he was there in the early days. Here's something. I guess this show is all about me. but me expanded. So I'd like to show you some of my favorite people that I played with. That's actually on video. Now, Phil Strange and I have worked a lot together, mostly in Japan. We have 2 recordings out, or 3 now, actually. I just released a live in Japan live recording from 1992 that Phil and I did. That was quite nice. It really shows the duo really beautifully. And it's a double CD set. But we traveled over 20 years together, mostly through Japan. We did a little bit in Europe, and a very small amount in LA. But he's very talented. He's kind of like a Keith Jarrett guy. And so here's this one.
I want from you. You gotta love me like I love you, and it won't be very hard to do. Alright, okay, baby, you again. Love with you, alright, okay. You win. What can I do? Anything you say, I will do. As long as it's me and you.
Yeah, Phil. Oh man, so good. Phil plays great. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just great. He's a great player, and he plays ballads gorgeously as well. That's Phil Strange. Yeah, long time. The first time we met, I was in Japan with a great piano player. Gosh, I should try and get him on. He's kind of a shyer guy, but Will Bulware, not Wilbur Ware, the bass player. Will Bulware, great player. I think he recorded once with Schofield. Uh, oh no. I'm thinking of the drummer. Anyway, Will Bulware and I had a duo. We went to Japan. I think that was the first time after in the old days when I was younger, we used to have gigs at the Playboy clubs, the jazz singers. But we'd have to go for 6 weeks. And so I did two of those. I did Tokyo and Osaka. Then there was a number of years that went by, and then Zan Stewart bumped into somebody in the street who said, "Do you know a duo who'd like to go to Japan?" So of course he called me, and Will Bulware was a great piano player, and he and I went to southern Japan for 3 weeks, which was actually a small amount of time. While I was there, I met Sugauchi Takanori, and he was the president of a music school in Kobe. And he not only was the president of the music school, but he did some booking. And Phil Strange worked for him there. And so Sugauchi put us together. He put us on the road 3 times a year for 10 years. And, you know, I would go over and do workshops and teach for him as well. And Phil and I were on the road, a lot of driving. We didn't drive, we had a driver. But I learned a lot in those days. It was really great. We also made our first record with Peter Erskine and Mark Johnson, which maybe I'll play a little later. It was really quite beautiful, and because Phil did some beautiful arrangements, and of course, Peter Erskine and Mark Johnson. Yeah, so it was fun, and we did it at Chick Corea's studio here in LA with Chick's engineer, Bernie Kirsch. It was pretty nice. I remember Karen Hammock and Kate McGarry came after or during the time when I was doing, I didn't know what time it was, which was painfully slow. It was probably my favorite cut, but the thing is, it was just so slow. You really have to be in the mood to listen to it because it's achingly slow. And, you know, with all those guys, Phil and Peter Erskine and Mark Johnson, just gorgeous. But anyway, then Phil and I, a few years later, made a duo record after we had spent a month on the road together. We went to Arizona, and the engineer who was Paul Paul the Beatles guy, Paul, whose name has escaped me. Anyway, it was his engineer, and so he had this really amazing studio that had this sunken space for his grand piano. It was really interesting. And so Phil and I did that one. That's called Alone Together. That was pretty out because we had been working together for a month. Most of what we did in Japan was duo. Thank you, Paul McCartney. Jesus Christ. Thank you. Sometimes the brain goes. So anyway, yeah, so we did, it was a pretty out record actually. You know, we did Misty, really crazy. I loved it, but you know, as the artist, you can love something. And then I released this old duo recording of ours from '92 recently. So, yeah. Yeah, Joey, thanks. Thanks, Roland. Oh, explain those prayer improv. Sure. So I like to, I'd like to do it more. My prayer improv. I don't even know why I came up with that name, but it's in the moment, and it's whatever I'm feeling, wherever I am. Sometimes I'm outside, sometimes I'm inside, and what I do is I just start singing, and I could probably do a little of it here, but it you have to feel free enough to be in the moment, kind of accept what's happening, and then kind of develop it. And it usually has a real specific life, usually about 2 minutes, 3 minutes at the most. And I'm guessing that my my group Fish to Birds, which I should actually show you guys some Fish to Birds. I think that thanks, Joyce. I think that working with Fish to Birds probably helped helped me. Let's see. Let me go to my page, fishtobirds.com, and fishtobirds.com. Interesting. So I'm not finding it. Is it, let's see, is it www fish to birds? That is the title of my group, right? Huh. Why is it not coming up? Fish and bird. Fish. Fish to birds. Let's see. Let me just kind of see where my page is. Fishtobirds.com. Oh, here it is. I don't know why it didn't come up. Strange, my darlings. Let's see. Anyway, I think Fish to Birds probably helped me get in the mood for it. Here's a little something on Fish to Birds. Let's watch it on YouTube. There we go. So from right to left is Mon David, and then Ashley Marr, Cecily Gardner, whose birthday it is today. Happy birthday, BB. Diana Lynn Wallace, Adrian Duncan, me, and Emil Hassan Dyer. Look at Diane. Isn't she cool? She just loves moving, man. She's so cool. So our group was getting together for like 9 years. In the COVID days, we would just do haphazard things together outside mostly. And there is Stefan Oberhoff coming up to kind of fool around on piano. This was at the Blue Whale, which was one of the greatest clubs ever in LA. I think it was probably my birthday. What could be better than this? So much fun. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Isn't that gorgeous how it morphs together? Woo. Incredible. Too much fun. Anyway, I think that may have been where my prayer improv kind of blossomed out of, And yeah, you just let's see. I always meant to ask you, how did you meet Mon and the rest of the birds? Cute. Well, let's see. I don't think I can remember exactly how I met Mon. It's been a long time. We've known each other for a really long time. But what really happened was a number of years ago. Well, I guess it was probably 10 to 12 years ago. Rhiannon, the singer from Hawaii, the improvisational singer, she had a workshop at the Blue Whale, and which I'm guessing I might have had a hand in helping that happen. But most of our singers were there, and Cecily and Ashley and Emil, I think they said, why don't we continue doing this? So we started meeting at Cecily's house, and then the group kind of gelled. Certain people kind of dropped off, certain people gelled, and we ended up with pretty much that group that you saw. Emil and Mon, yeah, right. Well, and Adrian actually was not in the group at first. It was Diana. So it was Diana, Ashley, Cecily, and me, and Mon and Emil. And then Adrian came in, Diana left, and yeah, it's a great group. Really, just such a fun. And yes, Breeze, we really miss our Blue Whale, don't we? Here's a minute clip of you with Dwight Tribble doing improv. Oh, dare I watch that? I don't know. Yeah, nothing rehearsed. Kiki, hello, darling. Yeah, Diana's very infectious, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, the prayer improv at the beach. Those are nice. And also in June, I did a few back east that I really liked a lot. And actually, one was at the beach, at least one. Okay, good, Joey. Thank you. Thank you, my love. Just so good to hook up with you. So, Kiki as in Ebsen, no, Kiki as in wow. I know two Kikis, Kiki Ebsen and Kiki Wow. Kiki Wow is on the line, or Kiki Edenfield, her married name. And we had a little funny connection this weekend again through a mutual friend. So, hello, darling. Yeah, so I'll tell you another great duo that I had was with a pianist named Yun Sung Cho, who did I actually? I think I might have even scheduled a time. What did I? Uh, wow. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to go look because I need to know if I actually scheduled a time with him. Let's do that in November. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we're going to do it in November when I come back from my trip. Um, but Cho Yun Sung, or Yun Sung Cho, he incredibly talented pianist, kind of classical and jazz, and grew up part of his life in Argentina, and so he was influenced by that. He went to Berkeley. He lived in LA, and that's where I met him, and we played together. And then when he was going to go back to Korea, we thought, oh, we should go in the studio and just, record some stuff. Turned out to be a record. Bohemian is the record. And let me see, it's one of my favorite experiences. Bohemian. Cathy Segal-Garcia. Not Bohemian Rhapsody. And let's see. I think I'll play Fragile. I had a lot of originals on it, but I really liked Fragile. Oh, cool. Thanks for showing Jeremy Siskind. Thanks, Gary. Yeah. Yes, I've had, which by the way, I wanted to just chat for a minute about, do you know that 500, day 500 is coming? It's going to be in early December. What day? It's going to be, is that right? Oh, not early December, December 20th. I'm open to suggestions as to what to do. What I'm thinking of, I don't want to, I don't want to, say these are my favorites, because for obvious reasons. But I mean, other than taking clips, I could take clips from various people, or I could have guests for 10 or 15 minutes on, various guests for a few hours, which I kind of like. A house concert. I'm not sure how that would really relate to the noontime show. I want it to relate to the noontime show. Um, like a meet and greet. I mean, that's kind of what I was just saying. Like 10 minutes, you know, like if people can drop by and say hi, chat a bit, and then leave. Um, that's what I'm thinking. Or taking clips and then just making a whole, which might be cool. I don't know. I'm not sure. What would you guys like between those two? Or do you have another idea? The duos are really happening lately. Moving on. Duos are really happening lately. Catalina's, we've been seeing a lot of duos. Liz Wright had a duo with Kenny Banks Sr., which was awesome. Dee Dee Bridgewater and um, what's that piano player's name? Dan. Who is that piano player? Oh, he's really a good player. He was on Samara Joy, however you pronounce her name, Samara Joy, and Tamir. Bill Charlap, thank you. So, yeah, duos are just so much fun. Small groups. Of course, there's the Dreamsville trio with Josh Nelson, Larry Kuntz, and Cathy Segal-Garcia. No, not Carrie Frank, Bill Charlap. And although I am going to go see Carrie Frank this week play. Speaking of this week, Roland Askerins, I am going to France on Friday to be in a creative workshop given by Vinx, who probably some of you had watched our interview. Definitely Roland did, and Dan, and probably Joyce. He's a really creative person. I met him in LA. He had this kind of house in Culver City that was a workspace, for their creations, and then also it was a gig space. We're actually, my husband Gary, as he was kind of courting me, he came to a concert there. Anyway, Vinx, backup singer for a lot of people, writer for people, and also artist and improvisational artist as well. Very creative person, really nice. And so he has these workshops once a year in France, southern France, and it was so inexpensive for a great experience. I said, sign me up. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that, Breeze. So then I figured I'm really close, considerably, not really close, but close to Paris. And I really haven't spent much time in Paris, so I decided to go to Paris, and I convinced my husband to go meet me there. And so the week after the workshop, we'll be in Paris for a week. So while I'm there, by the way, for fans of the Noontime Hang, I have archives set up for every day. However, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing a little bit of live videoing from France. Even if it's short moments, I'm going to this this month I was introduced to a lot of French musicians, especially guitar players. And so I'm gonna do some hanging. I can't wait. There's one night I'm gonna go see Frederic Loiseau's girlfriend, who's a bassist, at the main club in Paris called Sunset. And that's the first set. And the second set is David Lynx, who is a very well-known jazz singer in Europe. And he was one of my guests. He was pretty amazing. So that's the second set. So that should be a great night. And then I'm gonna hang out with these guitar players. I have to write myself a note because I want to know what day I'm hanging out with them. And that would be fun. That would be fun, just to have a little bit of a live part of the hang, right? I have to bring my computer with me. So anyway, so that'll be between October 28th and November 14th. So that's what's going to be happening then. Archives, definitely, and then some live stuff from France. It'll be fun. Yeah, I am a sucker for guitar players. So true. Yeah. So let's see. I was going to play you "Fragile." This is with Yun Sung Cho.
If blood will flow when flesh and steel are one, drawing in the color of the evening sun, tomorrow's rain will wash the stains away, but something in our minds will always stay. Perhaps this final act was meant to clinch a lifetime's argument that nothing comes from violence, nothing ever could. For all those born beneath an angry star, lest we forget how fragile we are. On and on the rain will fall like tears from the star, like tears from the star. On and on the rain will say how fragile we are, how fragile we are. Oh, hey,
Isn't he great? Wow. He's amazing.
If blood will flow when flesh and steel are one, trying in the color of the evening sun, tomorrow's rain will wash the stains away, but something in our minds will always stay. Perhaps this final act was meant to clinch a lifetime's argument that nothing comes from violence and nothing ever could. For all those born beneath an angry star, lest we forget how fragile we are. On and on the rain will fall like tears from a star, like tears from a star. On and on the rain will say how fragile we are, how fragile we are, how fragile.
Great pianist. Yeah, that was a great pianist. We did that at John Leftwich's um, house. Here, I'll show you the cover of that. Here's the cover. Yeah. Actually, Cho, he's been in Korea for a while, but he and I are going to be doing several projects together, actually. We're going to do another duo project. We're also going to do a project with 13 strings. And that'll be like a theme for kind of geared for the Korean audience. Then also we're going to do some meditation projects, which will be more improvisation. Thank you.
Syrup, no milk? I didn't think milk.
That's fine. Thank you so much. Yeah, so that's Cho Yun Sung. Very, very talented guy. Oh, thank you, Breeze. I'm going to become friends with him. Yep. I'm going to do that. And go back to my my Facebook page and my comments. Let's see. Comments. Yep, here we go. And then Dan. Oh. Okay, Dan. That's good. Okay, we're good. We'll do the moment. That's probably fun. So, and you know, Bree Smith is here. Oh shoot, I just lost that again. I'm gonna do that again. Bree Smith is here, and he's definitely an improv guy. And I forget what I was going to say about you, Breeze. Something. Well, you know, there's so many situations, great things to play with. I hope to play a lot more with Breeze, get into more improvisation. Lately, I've been reading poems at my gigs, and you're windy. Cute. But yeah, I've been reading poems, like some of my own poems, and Pablo Neruda poem, and various things. I want to get into that more and more, but I've been doing that at every gig. I really like it. I think the audience really appreciates it. It's I don't know how to talk about it exactly. It's this very uh, kind of big experience. Big. I don't mean big this way. I mean just the kind of very intense and full. Even just a short poem with improvisation. Um, I really enjoy the reading and the dramatizing of certain phrases or ideas, and I enjoy the timing, waiting for the musician to respond to what I've said or lead me. It's really fun. I'd like to get better at creating in the moment instead of just reading. It becomes much more personal with a human voice. Yeah. Oh, really? I'm working on writing orchestra pieces to poems, even for big band. So Taylor, are you going to have somebody read the poems? Um, and Taylor, here's where our collaboration comes in. If you record that, I would love to read the poems for you. Just saying. Thank you, Toby. Thank you so much. 121, and it's pretty much been all about me. It's not true, but I mean, yeah, I have allowed myself to be shown a lot, and yeah, but that's okay. It's really fun to be able to do this. I mean, um, yeah, why not? Uh, One project I did as a duo was with Ross Tompkins, and that was uh, a more conservative project, I guess you could say, because Ross really liked conservative jazz, you know, straight ahead jazz, and he was an excellent accompanist. Um, at the time, it was interesting going back to hear myself. I had a lot of vibrato on that whole project, but it was right after my sister died, and I have a feeling that the vibrato was part of the emotional release. As a matter of fact, let's listen to that one because I think you guys would appreciate that. Uh, Actually, Ross Tompkins did more than just straight ahead jazz, but um, I'm gonna do the special one. There's beautiful standards on this project, but this one was dedicated to my sister Margie, who died, and let's see, yeah. So yeah, and you'll hear the touching kind of very touching kind of connection. In your own time, look up Life in Music and Poetry featuring Kurt Ellington. Oh, very nice. Okay, I will. Thank you. Yeah. Um, yeah. Anyway, this song you'll hear in the beginning. This song, my sisters and I, here's a cute picture of my sisters. They were 4 years older than me, and here's another funny picture that I keep on my desk. Both my sisters have passed, and which is, it's kind of hard, but I have a non-crazy one too of this day, but I leave this on my desk because it feels good. Anyway, we grew up singing together, and this recording we did after I had moved to LA, and then I went back, and it was a tape recording. And when I did this project with Ross, I wanted to do this song, and I took the tape recording of my sisters and I and cleaned it up. And so here is Good Night, Sweetheart.
Okay, here is Halloween, 1982.
That was me, of course.
Everybody's looking at me so seriously. What is it? Okay, Segal Sisters.
Take two.
That's right.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say, good night, sweetheart. Good night. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say, good night, sweetheart. Good night. Well, my mother and my father, yeah, they really hate to see me late at night. Well, I hate to leave you, baby, but I don't mean maybe. Honey, I'm saying good night. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say, good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night, sweetheart. Good night. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say, good night, sweetheart. Good night. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say, good night, sweetheart. Good night. Well, my mother and my father, they really hate to see me out late at night. Well, I hate to leave you, baby, but I don't mean maybe. Honey, I'm saying good night. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say good night, sweetheart. Good night.
He's such a beautiful player too, isn't he? Listen to that. So pretty.
Well, my mother and my father, yeah, they really hate to see me out late at night. Well, I hate to leave you, baby, but I don't mean maybe. Honey, I'm saying good night. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say good night. Good night. Good night, sweetheart. Good night.
He played really beautifully. That that recording actually is quite beautiful in that style. He was a great accompanist, and rubato, singing out of time, is such a an art form. It's such a give and take. Um, you know, sometimes the pianist leads, sometimes the singer leads, and beautiful relationship. Really, I really enjoyed that with Ross. Ross was a really interesting guy. When he would play on the Tonight Show band, what did they call him? They called him the Phantom because he would show up for the gig, and then as soon as the gig was over, he was gone. And I was very dear friends with his wife. She was my best friend. And so they didn't have a piano at home. No piano. So he would go around playing pianos at the clubs or whatever. I guess he figured he had practiced enough. That was another thing. He made a number of recordings, solo recordings, and recordings with Jack Sheldon as well. And even on our recording, once, that was it. He played the song once, that was it. Next song. That was how he did his own recordings too. That was it. But in an hour and a half, he had done a record. Very soft-spoken man. Didn't really talk a lot, which is funny because he was friends with Marty Harris, who was total opposite. Really gregarious and outgoing and talkative, and somehow they were buddies. They used to go every single week. They would go somewhere to like a cheap eatery and eat together, like finding a taco stand or, something like that. Oh my God, that makes me laugh because of Marty Harris. Marty Harris was quite the character. Piano player, very swinging player when he was committed. When he wasn't committed, it was really painful because he would just kind of flip the switch and then, just play like that, which, wasn't that great. That's John Beasley always. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I don't know what you were speaking of. But speaking of John Beasley, I also had this recording, recording that I'll just show you some of my recordings, my past recordings, music. So this is from well, I'll start from the back. So the bottom, the earlier, this recording was my first recording, which was it had some wonderful people on it and classic arrangements by Rick Helzer, piano player, who I have interviewed. He's a friend of mine. He lives in um, uh, I forget the name of where he lives. It's a place where you don't expect jazz, where you expect farmers, which um, it's not Palmdale, but it's north. Anyway, Frank, a lot of people who have passed on. Frank Severino, great drummer, one of my first friends in LA, played with Carmen McRae, and John Hurd, also a friend from way back, bass player who just passed last year. He played with all kinds of great people. He was really great, kind of a grumpy bear guy, but great. Um, let's see, there was Octavio Bailey, who's still around. He was just a great bass player from Brazil. Bill Lohr, who is Peggy Lauren Lohr's husband, and he was is an exquisite pianist. And he and I did a lot of work in the early days. Rick Helzer, very great, kind of similar to Phil Strange, like and Bevan Manson, very high level, committed pianist with more modern ideas. Armando Campion, my pal on bass. Actually, he and I sang a song on that record too. Art Rodriguez, really great drummer in the old days. Tom Breckline, an amazing player. This was done in like 87 or something, or 82 or something like that. And, 1985. So back then we were all just playing together, and then everybody went on to be more successful. Wayne Johnson, great guitar player. He played with the Manhattan Transfer for a long time. Russell Ferrante, of course, we know and love. He was on this record. The Yellow Jackets is his group. Jim Lacefield, great bass player back then who passed. Jim Cowger moved to Nashville, and he's a great sax player, real salt of the earth guy. Lauren Pickford, a real modern, well, kind of a avant-garde thinker, but straight ahead, and lives in New Orleans and lived in Kansas City, and he's a really cool guy. I've tried to get him on here, but he's a little shy. Clay Jenkins, really great modern player. He plays with Bob Bowman and other people. He's kind of like a Larry Coons kind of a player, but plays trumpet. Paul Yanamura, great drummer here. Gary Willis, we were just talking about Gary Willis, what a great bass player. And Scott Colley, who probably doesn't even remember this record. He's done so much. He's a New York guy, plays bass with a lot of great people. So that was a fun. That was my first record. It was really Ray. Ray helped me put this record together. He was my engineer, and it was kind of cut and paste, and we went down to San Diego to Ray's studio to record. That was when I was married to Gus Garcia. I had some originals of ours on that. I guess the next record, actually, jumping ahead, was Song of the Heart. Was that right? Yeah, I guess so. So, kind of a big jump. This is after I started going to Japan And this was that record I was talking about with Mark Johnson and Peter Erskine. And Phil wrote some great arrangements, really beautiful, and the band was fabulous. Um, as far as dates go, I just released this next one live in Japan with Phil and I, which was a duo. And then Heart to Heart, which you just heard Ross Tompkins and I. That was really nice. That was produced by a friend who was a supporter at the time. Here was Alone Together, which I mentioned. Phil and I doing after a month-long tour in Japan. We did that. And here's the Ted Green and I, that documentary, a CD and a DVD. So that was, I called it Never Forgotten. That was a really cool project. Then Secret Life. Secret Life. um, that was when I was separating from my first husband, and I had the Muse come visit, and I wrote a bunch of material that was really kind of out of the usual for me. It was a little more world music and R&B-ish and kind of a mixture of stuff. Then I don't know, I called up Karen Hammock and Chris Seimer and Kendall Kay, and I was dating Lou Castro, the bass player, and he produced this project, and there was a Chinese label who just kind of popped up during this time and asked me if I wanted to record. And we brought the project in. It was really cool. I had a bunch of background voices on it, and I really dig this project, Secret Life. Really cool. Yeah, Secret Life was the title cut, but that was actually about my breakup. And then moved on to Day by Day with Joe Diorio, and yeah, this reminds me a fortunate meeting on the bandstand in 1976. That was when I met Joe. Loved Joe. Then the Bohemian Project with Yun Sung Cho. Then I should play a little bit of this, The Moment, which is just a great group. I'd like to use this group again, but I guess I'll have to use a few different players because Brad Dutz right here, the percussionist, moved up to Seattle area. Gary Fukushima, one of my all-time favorite pianists. He lives here. And Jeff Richmond on guitar. He's not playing too many gigs right now, but one of my very favorite guitar players. And Chuck Manning, great tenor player. So this group is really fun. We have a sound. I don't know why, but we have this particular sound whenever we get together. It has this sound. It's great. I think with new players, it might change a little. We do originals and, jazz composers stuff. It's really cool. This record, I should probably play a little bit of. So this is called Intuition. This is a picture of my sisters. Pretty cool. This looked like they were from another planet, didn't it? Yeah. Anyway, this project is, because I love duos so much, there's 11 pianists and one violinist. And these are the pianists, Josh Nelson, Otmaro. These were duos except for two songs, which Karen Hammock played, and Calabria Foti on violin. Lou Matthews, probably the last recording he did. Gary Fukushima, John Beasley, Vardan of Sepian, Dave Mackay, who passed a few years ago. Oh, actually, I don't know if Dave's song got on there. Dave Moscow, Jane Getz, Bevan Manson. I enjoyed doing that project a lot. Then the Jazz Chamber, which was definitely a bucket list kind of a project. A small chamber orchestra, arrangements by Bevan Manson. Oh, Bevan Manson's on the Intuition as well. Bevan Manson and Dennis Streeth and Dory Amarillo with beautiful. It was that was a great project. I had special guest artists. I had Tierney Sutton and Kate McGarry and Mon David. And then, of course, Dreamsville, one of my favorite projects. I love this cover too. Isn't that beautiful? That was Brad Dutz's wife, whose name I forget, a Japanese name. This was her artwork, really beautiful. Anyway, this beautiful relationship between Josh and Larry and I. We just did a gig up north in Paso Robles at Libretto, and just always, it's so nice to play together. It's really nice. Then this project, straight ahead from the UK, was an old friend of mine, Andy McIntosh, an alto player, brought me to the UK and recorded with an English bunch of musicians. We had a guest artist, Norma Winstone, on with me. And then it sat on the shelf because we hadn't finished paying for it. And then finally, a few years ago, we brought it here, and John Leftwich added and subtracted stuff and mixed beautifully, and he did the greatest mix job ever. And so that's what this is, and it's my only straight ahead project. Actually, I've never had a straight ahead project, so that was fun. Of course, I did have some more modern stuff on there. I always try and put on at least one original. And here's Social Anthems Volume 1, Anthony Wilson and Josh Nelson arrangements with Lorca Hart and Edwin Livingston. And I had Mondavid and Paul Jost guest on it with me. And I'm working on finishing Social Anthems Volume 2, which has a whole different band. It has Nick Mancini, Will Brahm, Carrie Frank, Steve Haas, and Alex Bonham. With expected guest artists too. I'm not sure yet who, but hopefully I will be able to finish that in the next few months. I'm also working on this No Net project with John Leftwich, which some of you have heard and seen, and it's got great arrangements. John's just so cool, and again, John is mixing, and it's going to be the greatest sound. So those two projects I'm working on. And yeah, it's great. Let's see. I think Dan had posted a Moment video. So where was that? Let's see. Moment. Oh, this is with Sister Jean at the place I booked for a while, Bar Fedora, and which maybe we're going to have a few shows coming up again. So let's see. Let's see, Dan, what did you post? You posted Putting on the Ritz at Saddleback. Let's see how this one sounds. Brad Dutz on percussion.
If you're blue, you know where to go to. Why don't you go with fashion sense? Putting on the Ritz. Different types who wear a coat, pants with stripes and colored waistcoats. Perfect fits. Putting on the Ritz. Dressed up like a $1 million trooper. Trying hard to look like Gary Cooper. Super duper, come let's mix. They're Rockefellers, walk with sticks and other fellows in their bits. Putting on the Ritz. If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Putting on the Ritz. Different types of
You know,
coat pants with stripes.
I'm gonna stop this. This recording not so great for me. Putting on the Ritz, Cathy, Segal-Garcia. There was a better one. Well, of course, the recording was better. Actually, that was a live one, but we did do putting on the Ritz. Bop bop ba oh de de do. Ba boo ba boo ba ba boo ba 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 do de. Let's see, where was it? Ba da do de go ba ba boo ba ba da do ba ba oh. Ba ba da do do da ba oh. Ba ba da do do da da dee. Ba ba oo ba boo ba oo ba oh. Let's see, was it on here? Do 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 ba ba oo. Bye. Do 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 do. Ba ba woo ba ba oh ba oh ba ba da da do da do da da ba oh ba da dee dee ba ba woo bo ba oh, putting on the Ritz. Now where was it? Was it the moment? Maybe under there. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm so organized, but then I'm not sure where I put everything. Yeah, here we go. So putting on the Ritz, here's a better link, I think. It is a fun song. Putting on the Ritz, here we go. I enjoyed this one a lot. This was at that place that Nick Mancini was having a series at in Eagle Rock. I really enjoyed this band because I could just, like, not step in for a while. They are so cool, man. Yeah. This is the moment. I just want to share a little bit of intuition. Intuition. Cathy, Segal-Garcia, because I wanted to play something that you may not hear so much because let's see if it's on here. So it's oh, that was something else. Let's see. A small hotel. Here we go. So you may not hear this a lot because Dave Moscow is a really great piano player I've known for many years. As a matter of fact, tomorrow he turns 80. Hard to believe. And he's the kind of piano player who never went on the road with big people, but he was always working, totally like supportive of singers and just a really great player. I really have enjoyed playing with him over the years so much. I'd really love a duo gig in like a hotel or a country club or restaurant, something like that, with him and me just playing through standards and reinventing standards. He's so good. So here we go. Oh yeah, I forgot. He also does this kind of thing, which is really cool on synth.
Oh, there's a small hotel with a wishing well. I wish that we were there together. There is a bridal suite, one room, it's nice and neat, complete for us to share together.
Yeah, I like it.
Looking through the window, you can see a distant steeple, not a sign of people who needs people. When the steeple bell says good night, sleep well, we'll think that small hotel together.
Ooh. Yeah. 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 Yeah, 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 yeah,
nice
Go,
and
Dave.
complete for us to share it together. Looking through the window, you can see a distant steeple. Not a sound of people who needs people. When the wishing will it says tonight, sleep well, we'll find that small hotel. We'll
Yeah.
find that small hotel. We'll find that small hotel together.
Isn't that cool? Telling you, man. Dave Moscow. Yeah. He always poo-poos himself because he didn't go on the road with big people, but, you know, he's fantastic. And, you know, just really had a feel. He and I have a real good feel, you know, trust, you know, we trust the time's going to be there, the harmony is going to be taken care of. And yeah, 80 years old tomorrow. If you know Dave, wish him a happy birthday on Facebook. So thanks for being here. It's kind of fun to share what I've done with various people. I mean, there's a lot more, but I think 2 hours is enough to talk about yourself. I didn't really talk all about myself, but a lot. So tomorrow I have a great singer on, Nancy Harms. She's from Minnesota originally, and she sings with Jeremy Siskin. They have this kind of project, beautiful project. We went to hear them, I think Aviva and Dan and I went to hear them at Sam First a few months ago. She's very unusual and beautiful, smart, lovely. It's great. So she's on tomorrow. And then Wednesday, an old friend of mine, I haven't talked to him in a long time. He's a vibes player. His name is Eldad Tarmu. He has, if you go to his site, Eldad Tarmu, you'll hear one of his compositions that is so beautiful. It's really beautiful. Anyway, he's going to be on Wednesday. I'm really excited. As I said, just as a reminder, I'm going to France on Friday for 2 weeks. I'll be in at a workshop with Vinx the first week in southern France, and then I'm going to Paris the second week. And I highly expect to do a few live things, but every single day we'll have the archives on. And, you know, it'll be Adam Levy, Moira Smiley, Bevan Manson, Allison Wedding, Zvonimir Tot, Ferenc Nemeth, Doug Webb, Laurie Bell, Matt Gordy, Phil DeGrey, Satina Donato, Mike Steffens, Naduduzo Macathini. It's a hard name. Ron Newman, who's Sonny Wilkinson's husband, Jocelyn Medina, Adrian Duncan, Luther Hughes, Michael Barsamonto, Vince Mendoza. So that's the week I'll return, and I'll have 2 people live on Wednesday and Thursday that week. So anyway, I'll still be in touch with y'all, but I will be posting the archives, and keep a lookout because I should have some fun live little things from France. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I hope Giacomo Gates feels better. He actually was sick when he woke up this morning. That's why he didn't come on the show today. So was fun, you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.